James Gunn is less than a month away from releasing his Superman movie starring David Corenswet, and the Snyderverse fans are furious and plotting ways to sabotage the success projected for this movie. It's projected to have an opening weekend of $140 million at the box office, and Snyder fans have come up with several ways to stop this from happening.
That's domestic, by the way.
Yes,
that
domestically.
supposedly 140 to 180 million dollars domestic. I'll believe the 180 when I see it. Over 100, sure, but we'll have to wait and see. When you do this job, you kind of get lost in the weeds of all the articles and all the headlines and everybody arguing back and forth. Whether that actually translates to normies going to see it, we'll have to wait and see. But the Snyder fans are not happy, and you're right.
Yeah.
They have ideas.
This was their game plan posted online. Stand up and fight for Snyderverse on July 11th. Fight for our Snyderverse on the Imposter Superman release day. Here's what you can do to make a difference. Number 1, post spoilers everywhere. People are less likely to see or enjoy the movie if it's already spoiled. 2, leave bad ratings on review sites. We know for sure that Gunn bots will post fake positive reviews, so we must let people know the truth and balance the bias out with realistic scores. Even though none of them are planning to watch it, so they don't know.
The lack of introspection in that
they're
comment
talking about
is crazy work.
Fake positive reviews are just as worthless as fake negative reviews because none of you are planning to watch it. Number 3, this is the most insane one, and I don't even know if this is possible. Reserve tickets online, but don't complete the purchase. By selecting and reserving tickets, it gets taken out of the pool for a period of time, which means this has a chance of stopping Gunn bots from buying tickets. James Gunn fired the first shot and killed the Snyderverse, and here is our chance to take the fight back to him.
I think my favorite part is the passive-aggressive misspelling of his last name.
Yeah, just as
it's like when they say YT, white people.
Do they think every normie buying a ticket to see the new Superman movie is a Gunn bot? A lot of them don't even know who James Gunn is.
Well, no, that's the problem. You have to know who he is because he's making this advertising for this movie all about him.
I know,
that's one of
but
the most
still.
annoying parts about the movie. He responded, though, to his credit. He says, "Lol, I think we'll survive. I'm not sure the 8 people that listen to that guy, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess it's a guy, are going to impact the course of events." I think he's underplaying how popular or how rabid the Snyderverse fans are, which are very, very rabid.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where I enjoyed Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, and I enjoyed Man of Steel. And I've never been shy about sharing that at a time when Marvel was making annoyingly not serious movies that kind of undercut themselves by never taking it seriously when there was moments that they could have. Everything had to be undercut by a joke. I kind of appreciated somebody being like unapologetically serious.
Earnest.
Not even earnest. Almost like earnest would be different. Earnest wouldn't be as serious. Earnest would be somewhere in the middle. But it took itself very seriously. Okay. And I've said that repeatedly. And then I said one nice thing about about the upcoming Superman movie. And several people were like, "It's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's going to fail." I was like, look, it may fail, but whatever. Like you don't know that. And if it does, it's not because you had the right idea. It's because you just guessed because you hate it and got it right.
Well, these Snyder bots, I'll call them, they dedicate their lives to this stuff.
Yep.
They have entire platforms dedicated to this. And the irony of it all is I don't even think Zack Snyder feels some type of way about it. He actually worked with James Gunn on the costuming for this Superman.
Yeah, he said that they couldn't get it. He couldn't get the trunks. He said they tried to do the trunks in that one, but they couldn't get it to work.
But point being, if he felt that he was hard done by in all of this, he wouldn't have worked with James Gunn.
This is
so his fans are just completely misrepresenting his feelings about this.
He also responded. The director then elaborated on the topic in an interview with Rolling Stone. He said, "I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think you don't want everyone to root for you. And I have an actor who reads everything online. I won't say who it is, but he'll read this article and he'll know who it is. It's one of the top 5 in Superman, and this actor gets so upset over the things people say. I said, first of all, you realize that the trailer came out and the reaction was 97 to 98% positive. Well, I've been told that 98% of facts are made up on the spot. So statistics are made up on the spot. These people help us because you don't want everything to seem 100% positive." I was curious, like, who that would be. I asked ChatGPT, I said, based on the top 5 actors in Superman, their social media posts and interviews, who would be the most likely to...
And we know it's a guy.
So it's a guy. So it would either have been David Cornsweet.
David Cornsweet.
That's what ChatGPT said. They listed David Cornsweet. They didn't. So Nicholas Holt remains mostly professional online. Nathan Fillion has an overwhelmingly positive, like pro-positivity social media message. Plus, he's an industry veteran. I refuse to believe that a dude who's been doing it as long as he has is like getting mad about things online. He'd have had a heart attack by now, okay? And Eddie Gathegi. So Eddie Gathegi is kind of new to movie. Okay, not new, but I think of him as a TV actor because I think of him as stuff. What was he? He was in House back in the day. He was in The Blacklist. But you know, maybe it's David Cornsweet. Maybe he's just not used to the attention. He was that hateable character in Twisters.
It's a little hypocritical though for James Gunn to be talking about an actor being obsessed with what people are saying online, because James Gunn is constantly in back and forth with people. That's why this became a headline in the first place, because he's always engaging with people who are hating on this. You don't need to get into scrappy fights with people online. Just let the movie speak for itself. He also said, "It's all right to have an opposing force every once in a while. Some of the things get ridiculous. I just know that every time something comes out, it doesn't matter how positively received. There's going to be something that is of great controversy. It was great controversy that the sun caused Superman pain." So he's saying this is actually working in our favor.
Yeah, they were. There was the scene in the trailer where they beam the sun directly into him, and it's like when your bones heal, and he's screaming in pain because his body is healing itself, and people are like, "Why is it doing that? He gets power from the sun." Like, people just argue. People were making a big deal about the new trailer where Superman knocks someone's teeth out. They're like, Superman wouldn't do that. I have a soft spot for those types of arguments because it's much like the arguments that would happen at a comic shop back in the day where they would compare and contrast characters' powers and stuff like that. So I just can't get I can't get it out of my mind that there's people that would go out and like put tickets in a cart and not buy them.
I don't think that even works. Unless you purchase the tickets, they're not considered reserved on the website, unless they're planning to just make the websites overwhelm with traffic.
Well, no, maybe what it is like it takes it out of there until the website refreshes or something like that.
But now there's this whole like guerrilla marketing strategy for all of these movies where they're claiming that the ticket sites are crashing because it's so popular.
Yeah, I had that here as well. Yeah, Fandango,
I'm not buying it.
Let me see. Where did I have it here? Yeah. According to Fandango, the early access screenings have broken records, becoming the ticketing platform's top first-day advance ticket seller of 2025. That should involve actual numbers that could actually be analyzed. It's not the same thing as saying, like, they all hire the same web server who doesn't know how to keep a website running. Like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're all just cheap.
Superman is going to get DDoS attacked.
Yes, that's
on the day of release.
Exactly what it is. So the pre-sales have been good for the movie. Depending on who I ask, I could get 2 completely different takes on this. I said the other day, the hype. I felt like I asked the question, where does Jurassic World sit in this mess? Because the last 3 Jurassic World movies, all the ones with Chris Pratt, made over $1 billion.
And there's another competitor as well, right?
so it's Jurassic World on the 2nd, then Superman on the 11th, and then Fantastic Four on the 25th. But I said it felt like all the hype was going back and forth between Fantastic Four and Superman, and where is Jurassic World going to fall into us? But JB Spooky Review said he doesn't see any hype around Superman. So maybe it's just where you are, maybe wherever you are on the internet is like where you're going to you're kind of fed into the algorithm. So you could be tricked into thinking that a movie, look, remember, they re-released Morbius. They re-released Morbius. So I don't know. It would be amazing to see all 3 of those movies do well, because if I had to take a bet on something, I'd bet on Jurassic World, just because a lot of times a movie's ability to do well depends on whether its predecessor did well. And while it's not a direct sequel, the name Jurassic World has made $1 billion several times, albeit under a different actor. But one of the reasons Marvel movies don't do as well these days is because they have a bunch of failures leading up to it. So who's going to go see Thunderbolts if Captain America 4 didn't actually do that well and nobody cared? Who's going to go see Fantastic Four, theoretically, if Thunderbolts did crappy and Captain America did crappy? And I need not get into all of the failures of the DC universe that are not technically canon to these films, but you kind of train people to not want to go see your movies when the last big movie you released was like Aquaman.
Well, wasn't it like Blue Beetle, their last release?
So The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman all did crappy. The second Aquaman,
Blue
not
Beetle
the first one.
being the most recent.
I believe so.
Yeah. Awful.
Or was it after?
I think it was.
Was it after Flash? Either way, all 3 of those movies didn't do the money they needed to, so they have a lot riding on this movie. But we'll have to wait and see. I want to see the Superman movie do well, and then for the sequel, I want James Gunn to not make the marketing about him. I want him to make it about David Cornsweet, so that they can prove that they actually have faith that the actor can do it. They did this great promo for Entertainment Weekly where it shows Lois Lane in a phone booth, and then Clark Kent is in the phone booth, and there was like more chemistry between those two in like 8 seconds than I ever got between Henry Cavill and Amy Adams in Man of Steel and Batman vs. I literally just rewatched Batman vs. Superman the whole time, and I'm just like, would she actually save him? Like, do they actually even like each other? I don't know. do they? I don't know.
Who was it that Jason Momoa did chemistry tests with and it failed?
Oh, I don't know.
Or was it Amber Heard?
He was with Amber Heard
before they chose Amber Heard, maybe. But
so,
yeah, they had zero chemistry.
People in the chat are saying Cornsweet can't be a real name. It's a real name. That's his actual name.
It just sounds like corn sweat.
Yes, Corin.
It's an unfortunate
Black Adam. Name. Black Adam too.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Look, and here's the thing.
Another flop.
Blue Beetle was the only one that I really didn't care for. Black Adam was.
It was
fine.
Awful.
I love the slop.
Maybe I'm just biased because I'm not into slop.
I'm the slop. I was like, they gave Sarah.
He was hyping it up so much.
Like, my hope was that Sarah Shahi got a huge paycheck out of it because I love her as an actress. I liked The Flash way more than a lot of people did. I was like, if it wasn't for all of the chairs thrown and the women abuse, I'd give this movie a higher rating, but I can't in good conscience do that.
Separate art from the artist.
But I thought that Ezra Miller did fine as The Flash, and I thought they did a good job with the emotional beats of that movie. I just didn't like Blue Beetle. That was the only one I didn't like.
Well, and the messaging
in the new Aquaman,
messaging in Blue Beetle with the when this will come up later, the ice raid scene.
Batman is a fascist.
It's just OD.
And I thought that Aquaman 2 was slop as well, but slop.
Also bogged down with all of the Amber Heard press at the time.
Yeah.
And
they can't catch a break.
The Rock
was
was trying to sell Black Adam on merely his personality, and he realized that was a losing strategy.
We're gonna find, with the way DC has been going, we're gonna find out that David Cornsweet has an illegal immigrant locked in his basement right before the movie comes out. It's gonna break right before the movie comes out.
They weren't even seeking asylum; he just locked them in his basement.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.